Rumors are once again gaining momentum, with renewed speculation that past controversies linked to Jay-Z could be resurfacing. Gene Deal has added to the discussion, hinting that Jay-Z may soon become the next major figure drawn into a fresh wave of industry drama. While none of these claims have been verified, the conversation continues to intensify. Some observers quietly suggest that Beyoncé may be keeping her distance as the noise grows. Meanwhile, sources within the industry claim Diddy has stepped back, reportedly feeling that Jay-Z did not support him during a critical moment. Though much of this remains unconfirmed, the situation underscores how rapidly speculation can escalate when tensions are already running high.
You know what I mean, man, is that Diddy used to hate Jay-Z. He hated Jay-Z enough when he was trying to get Ja Rule to go at Jay-Z. This is back in the early 2000s.
Did Diddy always say negative things about Jay around you?
The time he was trying to get Ja Rule to go at Jay, yeah, he was. They worked it out.
Was there a reason behind it?
I couldn't tell you the reason behind it. It was probably because Big had died. I don't know what it was, man. I don't know why he wanted Ja Rule to go at Jay. I guess if he kept them beefing or kept them into some bullshit, he could rise up in between both of them. You know what I mean?
For years, voices in the commentary space have argued that Jay-Z is no stranger to high-pressure moments. But many now suggest this latest wave of buzz has placed him more on the defensive than firmly in control. Commentators like Jaguar Wright and Gene Deal have expressed similar views for a long time, frequently portraying both Jay-Z and Diddy as figures surrounded by persistent industry tension, often warning that prolonged pressure has a way of circling back. With Diddy's situation already unfolding in full public view, those same voices are now speculating that Jay-Z could be facing more difficult days ahead, as the atmosphere around his name, at least within rumor and commentary circles, continues to grow heavier.
These four gentlemen got together, gonna put up $30 million apiece.
Contemplating doing the first black-owned distribution company.
The thing is, they wasn't trying to let us in the door. That's why I don't trust these people.
But sure came up with the idea. It was a brilliant plan. He said whatever the recording funds, 10% goes to the union. Each time you do a new album, 10%. It was going to be some get down or lay down shit. Shortly after that, the feds raided me.
All of us being hit up around the same time. Someone left at me talking about our move.
It was Jay-Z and Puff that went to those New York corner to let them know what Suge Knight was trying to do. They told Jay, if you help us get rid of Dame, we're going to make you the president of Def Jam.
Why don't we stick together and they got to come to us? For some reason, everybody just wants to do everything on their own. They don't understand.
Industry whispers continue to raise questions about Jay-Z's reliability, frequently returning to long-standing debates tied to the 1999 incident involving Lance Rivera. That case ultimately ended with Jay-Z pleading guilty to a misdemeanor assault charge, even as Rivera has consistently maintained that Jay-Z never physically harmed him. The tension between those two positions has fueled years of speculation, with observers repeatedly asking why Rivera has held to that account, adding yet another layer of intrigue to a story the industry continues to revisit.
He turned himself in tonight, and the cops started working on his rap sheet, accusing him of a stabbing at a trendy party.
Kimberly Richardson is at Midtown South right now. Kimberly.
Well, Rosanna, just a few hours ago, police here at Midtown South arrested Sean Carter, better known as Jay-Z. The rap star voluntarily turned himself in here at the precinct earlier this evening. Now, Carter is being held here in connection with that stabbing fight that erupted at the Kit Kat Club last night. But just a few moments ago, Carter's attorney had this to say.
He's not involved in this, period.
He was at the club?
That's my only comment. He wasn't involved.
So it was someone else that did the stabbing and the hitting?
I didn't say that. I said he was not involved in it.
Now, Slovis goes on to say that at no time was Jay-Z hiding from the police, that they were in touch with cops all day and that they're trying to resolve this as gentlemen. But as Mike Sheehan shows us, others say they've seen the dark side of Jay-Z.
I have my faults. You know, I'm not a...
Commentators have long claimed that Jay-Z has offered little public reflection on the Lance Rivera incident, often pointing to past interviews that he described as personal turning points, though critics argue his remarks came across as distant or carefully controlled. Those same voices suggest the conflicting accounts of what happened at the Kit Kat Club only add to the uncertainty, with different witnesses offering varying versions of events, while Rivera remains the lone figure consistently maintaining that Jay-Z never harmed him. That sharp contrast has kept the debate alive for years, fueling continued speculation about why Rivera has held to that position and leaving the episodes surrounded by unanswered questions and ongoing industry discussion.
I don't remember exactly the charges. Assault with a deadly weapon.
They would have never let me be out here with you if that was the case.
You stabbed him. Okay. All right. Do you feel like that was a mistake in hindsight?
I believe that was the greatest thing ever. This is gonna sound crazy, but I believe that helped me. You know what I'm saying? Because that put the brakes on everything. That let me know that no matter how successful you are and how much you're on your road, it can all stop. You know what I'm saying? At the end of the day, you still kid from Marcy Projects, and you know, not everybody they waiting for you to mess up. You know what I'm saying? Like it's just go ahead. You know what I'm saying? We let you just go ahead and self-destruct yourself. You know what I'm saying? But that right there was a moment I was like, okay. You know, and I'm glad they didn't have to take for me to be in jail for like 7 years to be like, damn. You know what I'm saying? That moment was like, okay, all that stops. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm not going to parties with 30 people, and you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, I'm not putting myself in that position.
When you look at Dame still kind of living that life, you know, you could find Dame at the club, you know.
Yeah, but he's with 30 models. It's a little different. I was with the hood.
Yeah. Okay. That's a good point. He's hanging at a.
Industry chatter is growing louder, with some suggesting that in the wake of Diddy's recent downfall, Jay-Z could be the next high-profile figure to face intensified public scrutiny. A handful of commentators argue that powerful forces may be focusing on major names, echoing Ice Cube's broader perspective that Diddy's rapid descent, from global influence to financial and legal turmoil in a short span, did not unfold naturally. Those theories have only fueled further speculation about deeper industry dynamics at play. Now, the same voices are questioning whether Jay-Z could eventually experience a similar wave of attention as the overall atmosphere within the industry feels increasingly tense and unpredictable.
Have any kind of run-in with Diddy? Did you ever do anything with Diddy? Any projects you worked on with him?
He produced a few records, or had his producers do a few records on my War and Peace album, the Peace Disc. Yeah.
How was he to work with?
It was cool. You know, he, gave us great music. We flew out to New York. And I was mainly in the studio with the producer. You know, he had a stable of producers, so I was in the studio with his stable of producers, and I think we did some great music. And you know, I really kind of lost contact with him and really stopped dealing with Puffy around 94.
Oh, yeah. Any specific reason?
Yeah, I mean, they was doing their thing, I was doing mine. And, I'm not the partying type. You know what I mean? I ain't never been to a Diddy party. I ain't never really wanted to go, but I don't go to a lot of people parties.
Some commentators argue that Jay-Z's tough public image doesn't always match the behind-the-scenes stories that have circulated for years, particularly those tied to the volatile East Coast-West Coast era of the mid-1990s. According to these accounts, Jay-Z reportedly stayed in his Las Vegas hotel room to avoid a tense situation involving Tupac. Gene Deal has often described the atmosphere as highly charged at the time, claiming it only settled after Suge Knight stepped in and urged Tupac to let the night proceed calmly so Jay-Z could still perform. Over the years, these widely repeated stories have become part of hip-hop lore, continuing to influence debates about how Jay-Z handled pressure during one of the most intense periods in rap history.
Jay-Z being afraid to come out his hotel room because of Pop. All right, what happened was that I guess Pac had got whiffed that Jay-Z was in town. Well, you know he gonna do a show because Jay-Z, he doing a show. But you got to realize Jay-Z had became an enemy of Pac because I think he had said was going to do a song with Big or whatever like that, the whole 9 yards. So Jay is now Pac's enemy too. So Chaz Williams, who was over Black Hands. Black Hands was one of the labels who did that Black Gangster had every artist in New York on. And Chaz, who is now getting into the music business, has become a music executive. And he was once a former gangster who was on American Gangster BET because they had him down for robbing 161 banks. That's what they put in their program and everything. But Chaz was a gangster in New York City that became a music executive. So he gets a phone call saying that Jay is not going to come out the room because Tupac threatened him. So he's not going to do his show. Can he make some phone calls, you understand, to get Pac off the bullshit? So I think he may have talked to Big D, and Big D and Eric B called Suge, and Suge was laughing, saying that wasn't him. Because they tried to make it seem like it was Suge that was doing it, but it was Pac. So I guess Suge called Pac. Pac let him go ahead and do his show and everything like that. But Jay was scared to come out his room.
So that story was really true about Jay-Z being afraid to come out his hotel room.
Yeah, come on, man. Yeah, he was scared.
Some industry storytellers have pointed to moments where Gene Deal joked about wanting to knock Jay-Z's head off, using those remarks to argue that Jay-Z may not be as intimidating behind the scenes as his public image suggests. Critics claim that if he were truly as formidable as his reputation implies, figures like Deal might not feel so comfortable speaking about him so openly or casually. These anecdotes have added another layer to the ongoing debate surrounding Jay-Z's image, further blurring the line between public persona and the larger-than-life mythology that continues to follow him.
Because he was being disrespectful. We was in Cancun, and he had a personal assistant from my block named Laura. And he had brought like 6 people to the club with him, and he was only supposed to get 3 people in. I was running the door at Daddy-O's from Industry Entertainment. They just told me Jay-Z only get 3 people in. So I'm at the door. I said, yo, Jay, you good? And 3 of your others good, but the other 3 got to pay. So then he said, Laura, handle him. And at that time, the type of dude I was, you couldn't tell no woman to handle me when I'm talking to you as a man. I said, who you talking to like that? You telling her to handle me? And then me and him, you know, he didn't say nothing. He just turned to the side. And if he'd have turned back around, he'd have got his head knocked off. But Laura told me, yo, Gene, please, Gene, you gonna make me lose my job. You know what I'm saying? And because once she was beautiful, 2, she's from our block. I wasn't going to do that to her. So I gathered myself, stepped away from the situation.
Some voices in the commentary space have long suggested that Diddy and Jay-Z moved within overlapping circles, with street-level rumors and industry stories pointing to close connections, accounts Gene Deal claims he heard firsthand. Critics argue that while Diddy eventually became the target of intense public scrutiny, Jay-Z seemed insulated by silence and insider backing, allowing him to remain largely untouched as others made headlines. Now, with Gene Deal speaking more openly than in the past, those commentators believe long-buried details may be surfacing, warning that Jay-Z's carefully built empire could face the same level of scrutiny that has pulled other powerful figures into the spotlight.
To protect myself, that there's stories of Jay talking to underage girls. It was a girl from my block that was 16, 17 years old that Jay was talking to. If she was 17. So there's plenty of stories out there that they might flood the market of Jay talking to underage girls. I heard this kid that is claiming to be his son. His mother was 15 when she conceived him and had him at 16. And Jay refused to do a blood test or anything like that.
from your point of view, because I know you heard the statement that, Jay lawyer came out with about how he wasn't really friends with Diddy. From your point of view, was they really friends or no?
How close was Diddy and Jay-Z? They was close enough that they wasn't playing basketball. They wasn't playing baseball. They wasn't playing football. And they wasn't playing hockey or soccer for Diddy to come on stage, pat him on his ass, and then make the statement to people in the world that can't nobody call me Sean but Jay-Z. Now, I don't know what kind of statement, and I can't say, I wish I could say half a homo, but I know I can't say it. But I don't know what kind of half a homo that is. And you trying to say that you're not close to somebody. You coming on stage, patting them on their ass. And then you making a broad statement to the public. Can't nobody call me Sean but Sean Carter. And I heard Jay-Z said the same thing about them. But they were so close that they had matching white girls together. Because when they used to see each other, they used to say, yo, how your skinny white girl doing? He'd be like, yo, how your skinny white girl doing? Joe?
Some commentators have noted that whispers about Jay-Z facing mounting pressure in certain circles are beginning to grow, alongside ongoing rumors of Diddy dealing with heightened behind-the-scenes tension. In recent months, online accounts have claimed that Diddy encountered increasing hostility, with insiders suggesting that swift interventions helped keep situations from escalating. Now, theorists are speculating that the same forces believed to be creating challenges for Diddy may also be shifting their focus toward Jay-Z, fueling a fresh wave of industry speculation and leaving observers increasingly on edge.
He was sleeping at the MDC Brooklyn jail. Somebody came and put a knife, pressed it to his throat. Now, as I keep digging into the story, they're saying, yes, a correctional officer or a police officer was the one who came and basically helped him out and quote unquote saved him. Yes. And so, obviously Diddy's lawyers are trying to use this as a way to just get him even moved to a different location. But right now, everything is kind of staying as is.
Yeah, his safety being an issue when he's supposed to be, I think in some sort of protected environment. Remember MDC? Isn't that where the Epstein situation?
Some commentators suggest that karma may be catching up with Diddy, arguing that he is now facing the kind of pressure and resistance he once navigated from a position of control. Industry voices claim the balance has shifted, placing Diddy under scrutiny and tension that leave him more defensive than ever before. This perceived reversal has added another dramatic layer to his unfolding story, as observers debate whether the power dynamics that once worked in his favor are now turning against him.
Is he safe though? And you say something about him getting stabbed?
I was going to say, Diddy's team is saying no, he's not going to be safe, because in court we found out that there was an attempt on Diddy's life, that there was a man that attempted to shank him, but they stopped it, the correctional officers. And they say Diddy didn't even want people to know that he didn't want to make it a big deal. But of course they're having that conversation about will he be safe because of who he is and how high profile this case is. Right. They're also having a conversation. Mark Geragos is a high profile attorney, a friend of Diddy's, but also the dad of Teenie Geragos, who led Diddy's defense about Diddy potentially being raped in court. And we can and just attacks on his life, because they say that people look at him as like a trophy or a prize, and to do something to him.
Well, what if other inmates hear all of the stuff that we've been hearing in the news all of these weeks and they scared of Diddy?
That's not how they presented it. I don't.
That's crazy to say Diddy's a trophy. Like, he's looked at as a trophy.
Industry commentators, including Gene Deal, have fueled speculation that Diddy is facing significant behind-the-scenes challenges, with insiders like Chuchi Finney sharing accounts suggesting he is under pressures rarely seen by the public. Rumors have circulated about tense incidents during his confinement, which some interpret as part of a broader pattern of mounting difficulties. Observers note that this represents just one of several hurdles Diddy has encountered recently, and the ongoing speculation continues to leave the industry on edge.
Sean Diddy Combs could be
assaulted, violently assaulted. Is that a thing? Because based on what was said in court, it feels like a thing.
Yeah, it clearly is a thing. I mean, they're already, and he did not want to make a big deal of it. They already tried to shank it once at the MDC, and that was thwarted. And it happens in prison. I mean, you and I could tick off how many times we are aware of somebody getting seriously injured or killed in prison. And so they're going to have to keep him somewhere that they can keep an eye on him. It would have obviously been better if he had gotten less time and had been at a camp, but he's going to be in a facility where somebody's going to have to, from the BOP, and I think they're well equipped to do it if they can, to keep an eye on him because he is a target.
So let's say he is sent to a minimum security prison. Is he out of the woods when it comes to that kind of assault?
If you're going, you and I talked about Ghislaine Maxwell, who went from the one place in Florida, which was a higher level, not a camp. And she was transferred after she did the interview with the couple-day interview. She was transferred to what they call a camp in Texas, which I'm familiar with.
Commentators have suggested that Jay-Z may not have the same protective layers that Diddy once seemed to enjoy, noting that while Diddy benefited from powerful backing, Jay-Z has relied more on support from influential industry figures. Those voices now warn that if those allies step back or disengage, Jay-Z could be exposed in ways he hasn't faced before, adding another layer of uncertainty to the growing storm surrounding his name.
And the circumstances of him being in prison, I didn't never hear about this, and nobody ever said anything about this. And I want to know if it's in the prison records. They said one of the guards stopped a dude from shanking Diddy. Now, I'm like, if he was doing all this positive shit in jail, and they was talking about he was all the inmates loved him and they was employing him and doing standing ovation. I wonder what inmate was trying to shake him. Was that one of the Tupac? Was that one of the Tupac fans, or that was one of Biggie fans? Because they said that the guard, they said that in court. One of the lawyers, one of the guards stopped one of the individuals that was trying to shank him, bro. And that was crazy. Nobody, I never, that didn't leak. Everything leaks from prison, but that didn't leak. Nobody wrote home and said, yo, dudes is in here trying to stab Diddy up. But the lawyers mentioned that today. I want to see if they're going to investigate that right there. You know what I'm saying? And base that, or he probably used that, base that on trying to help Diddy getting into one of those camps or one of those programs that, he ain't got to worry about.
Commentators and insiders have long speculated that the circles Diddy and Jay-Z navigated were high stakes and fraught with risk, with some suggesting that even the most seasoned figures would be tested by the conflicts they faced. Michael Francisi, a former organized crime commentator, is often cited for noting that the sheer intensity of their reputations alone could unsettle anyone. Observers argue that both Diddy and Jay-Z operated in worlds where loyalty, influence, and power were constantly in play, making every move a potential flashpoint and keeping the industry closely attuned to their next steps.
When we were on the street, we didn't get a day's rest. I mean, the government was all over us. The FBI is all over us. They got investigations on us. They got informants. They got surveillance equipment.
He was not cutting you off, but he was an informant for years.
Was he really?
Yeah. That's why when people was like, oh, he's going to run, he's not. So the reason why these type of people get caught up, they always been telling they bigger than the law because they part of the law, And as you know, all these people get targeted.
They saw what he did to Cassie. With the kicking, the punching. They saw what they did to Cassie. They know that nobody in America like that. So now these people are represented by a brand. Whether it's something about the music, clothing, movies, They not gonna come out and speak on nothing that has anything to do with them. And they praying that they not on the tape doing crazy stuff, being oiled up in the whole 9 yards. They praying. So until the feds say, hey, yo, listen here. We got you on, hey, buddy, we got you on this tape. And girl looked like she was pretty young. We're not going to show it, but we need you to come and testify against Brother Love, P. Diddy, Puff Daddy, you know, Sean Combs. That's when they're going to start talking. And they're not going to be talking in his favor. When the feds come to them and show them what...
Rumors are swirling that Diddy is facing mounting pressure behind the scenes, while whispers suggest Beyoncé may be keeping her distance. Even the circles that once supported Jay-Z are watching closely. Gene Deal notes that the environment around him is shifting, with insiders predicting his influence could be tested like never before. As speculation builds and new stories emerge, the industry may no longer offer the protective shield it once did, keeping everyone on edge. Stay tuned and turn on notifications to catch every development the moment it unfolds.